See, my only advice is one thing to everybody out here. When people start attacking you, when you have people, trying saying that Hinduism is this, Hinduism is that, you're backward, stand up. Stand up and defend. Don't let others bully you. Stand up and defend. But if you want to stand up and defend, you need to know. You have every right. See, the reason why Hinduism is surviving in India today, while all other pagan faiths have disappeared in their other countries, is because we had people continuously resisting Vijayanagar Empire, then Marathas, then other rulers. We had people like Rana Pratap, we had people like Shivaji Maharaj, we had people like Kṛṣṇadevarāya.
Dear listeners, welcome to the Bhakts.com podcast, Bhakts Charitra series. Today's guest is someone I first came across on Twitter. I noticed his consistent activity, his post on history, culture, and temples stood out immediately. Out of curiosity, I reached out to him with a message inviting him to our podcast. To my surprise, he agreed right away, and in our first conversation itself, I learned about his inspiring activities from writing books on Bharat history to documenting temple visits to bringing attention to some of the most unknown and neglected temples of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. His work perfectly aligned with our theme of celebrating unsung contributors to Sanatan Dharma. So it's my honor to welcome Ratnakar Sadasyula ji to the Bhakts.com podcast. I request you to share about yourself, what you do, how you are inspired. Ratnakar, please welcome.
Yeah, so basically, I am basically from an engineering background, working as an IT professional. So history is something which I always had an interest in learning about. You know, so I started with basically Indian history, and then I started. I mean, I had initially my knowledge of history was pretty much basic at the surface level. Then I started going into deeper and reading more about history, about the kings, about the events which are happening places from ancient to modern India. So a couple of things out here. So what I used to see was like there's not much known about Indian history. I mean, we are taught only a limited version of it. Okay, so and like we are taught that we were conquered by British, conquered by Muslims, we are slaves, we are inferior. But there's not much in our history. The positive aspects of our history were never revealed to people, be it resistance movements, achievements in science. So that is what made me to actually start studying into the Indian history part and sharing whatever I knew about it. Like, kind of.
So, just a few bullet points what activities you are doing. Like you have published one book on Vijayanagar Empire. Then you have a Substack where, like a blog, you post about temples. And what other things you are doing or you have done?
See, currently I'm mostly into writing and blogging. I'm not beyond that, so mostly I've been writing and blogging and whatever I know about Indian history and uh, sharing it on the social media part. I mean, I do have a YouTube channel, but it is not very active because I'm not very good at doing this editing part and all. Doing this editing and also it's pretty limited currently right now. I had a podcast, History Under Your Feet, where basically like it's just sharing my talks on Indian history here and there. So that in a very limited way, that is what I'm doing right now currently.
So what is the impact of all your activities and what you cover? Like mostly Hyderabad and Telangana temples or other south part of the Bharat as well?
Yeah, temples are mostly covered from the south, Andhra Telangana because that is my state, so that is where I grew up. But when I speak of Indian history, I cover it is much more broader. So, like I covered the Marathas history, then the Rajput history, then history of the southern India, freedom struggle, the history of ancient empires like Vijayanagar Empire or Kalinga Empire. So, with the history which I am covering is much more broader. That is covering almost every aspect part of India. Temples I cover mostly in Andhra Pradesh, Telangana because they are there. I'm more familiar there. But when it comes to history, I cover everything right from the ancient to the modern history related to India mostly. So freedom struggle is one, and revolutionary movements is one, and what you call the different eras like the Rajput history and the Maratha history and the Vijayanagar history. a home history. So that is what I cover, and the ancient kingdoms, like
So tell us something about your book, City of Victory. What it is all about, what it, what is the content, and what you have explored into this book.
See, City of Victory is primarily a book on the rise and fall of Vijayanagar Empire. So basically, like Vijayanagar Empire existed almost like close to 400 years down south. It had four different dynasties, and how it actually held was acting as a barrier against the Muslim invasions coming down towards the south, and it developed its own civilization, culture, architecture. So this book traces the rise and how this Vijayanagar Empire was founded, how it rise, reached a peak of glory, and of course later its fall and decline. A comprehensive, basically a comprehensive look at it from a more layman's point of view, like kind of.
Okay. So if our readers read your book, they will know completely about the Vijayanagar Empire, the whole 400 years of history.
Yeah, so basically, yeah, it's like they'll be getting an idea about how the empire was founded, who are its important rulers, what are the dynasties, and all. So they will get at least a very basic idea about it. Like,
Something, I mean, something deep or, insights you would like to share from your book, which would really, people would like to know or read.
like the chapter on Sri Kṛṣṇadevarāya, who happens to be one of the greatest emperors of not just Vijayanagar Empire, but even in Indian history otherwise. The foundation, how what are the circumstances that led to the foundation of the empire, and the entire events around it. Then, of course, the advances in literature, architecture, and the irrigation system. That is one aspect. And finally, the Battle of Talikota and the fall of it. That also. Yeah.
Now let's come to your this temple visit. So, what you do, what you explore, and what you tell on your blog, and is this only blog where you tell about these temples, or there are other modes and channels as well?
As of now, mostly it is through the blog only, which I'm doing it. Uh, but, mostly through the blog and maybe some interviews and here. So on some small mini reels which I'm just making and posting it in Instagram on those temples, like kind of.
Okay. So, what you have covered, I just wanted to know how many temples and what you have covered, and what is the impact of that those blogs and your information.
See the temples which I covered are mostly in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, and so basically, like in a way, many people came to know about those temples, which not many were that aware of the different devatas and all that. So I think so. That is what I keep getting comments. It is because of you, I came to know about this particular temple, which I was not aware of, and all that. So I think that way it is like making a particular kind of impact, like that. Yeah.
So you have covered known temples and unknown temples, both type of temples.
Yeah, yeah. So, but my focus, see, basically, my focus has been mostly on that which is not that very well known. Like known temples, okay, I do cover, but whether it is Indian history or whether it is temples, my focus has been on those parts which are not that well known to the people. So that is my endeavor to bring out the unknown aspects or the not so known aspects to the people, while while giving some more inputs on the more known parts. That is my, that is the main, that is my main objective. That people should be knowing about what that is not very well known. So that is the sense. Yeah.
So how many total you must have covered as of now?
Yeah, should I have covered at least 30, 40 temples in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, mostly well known temples. So around 30, 40 temples. So sometimes, like I do with a particular team, for example, all the Narsimha temples or all temples related to Shiva or all temples related to Ganesha, or the individual temples. So
Mhm.
around 30 to 40, I think. Yeah.
Okay. So I would like to know some more, experiences while, I mean, you definitely you used to visit there, see and experience different things. So some experiences which really, affected you.
Yeah. See, let me tell you one thing. For example, you take the case of Tirupati. Tirupati also happens to be my birthplace also. So Tirupati, everybody knows for Venkateswara Swami Temple and of course the Venkateswara Swami Temple Tirupati. But apart from that, there are a whole lot of other temples which not many people know about actually. So like we have the Varaha Swami Temple within the complex. Down hill you have this Govindraj Swami Temple and Skodanda Rama Swami Temple. And when I was keep visiting Tirupati or Tirumala, I keep looking at these not so very well known temples. One more example, my hometown is Visakhapatnam. So near to my hometown, there's a place called Bhimli, so once when I was visiting it, we came across a very unknown temple that was like somewhere, it was not known. It was like hidden behind the streets and everything. So when we went there to the temple, we came to know that the temple was actually dedicated to the Pandavas. There were five temples which are dedicated to the Pandavas. So like Mahabalipuram, everybody knows the Pandava Rathas, but this temple is not so well known. So that is how we came to know about this temple while we are looking at. So that is one like some of that information which we uh, get into it, or like the Chitragupta temple which is there in the old city of Hyderabad. Again, which is not very well known, so which I happened to read upon when we are coming about it. Yeah, when we are like looking at it, and yeah, one more place where I visited frequently, like Puri Jagannath Temple. Puri Jagannath Temple is known, but on the way there are temples like Sakshi Gopal, which is equally famous. So this is like when we go to places like there are apart from the known temples, we have the very unknown temples also like out here, which we keep stumbling upon, discovering them.
So, what is the condition of these unknown, unvisited temples when you go there? Who manages those temples? And is there anyone managing, or it's just lying down there?
It depends actually. For example, if you go to Tirupati area, most of the temples in and around Tirupati are managed by TTD. Like some
Okay.
again Visakhapatnam, tomorrow we go to Visakhapatnam and all. Most of them the royal family of Vijayanagar manages those temples. But there are some temples like this Pandavas temple. I mean, that is just lying there without not much people knowing about it. Just there's some recent pujari. So who manages and all depends on the area where you're visiting out.
So let's say talk about this Pandava temple. Is there any team or any board who is managing that temple, or
I know that's what we asked him last time he met. He said that there's some devotees come and this thing, but there's nothing specific about it because it was like like lying hidden out there. And of course, like this was like we visited long time back. So right now, even I'm also not very sure about the state of that particular temple out here.
one temple which I mean, which you can say is a really of very much high importance,
Hmm.
or which has very great historical importance and least visited.
There are temples like that. I mean, which are of importance. I mean, least visited. I don't know, but okay. Like for example, okay, in Tirupati, there is one temple that is called as Thondamanad Temple. There was the king. Tondaman was a particular kingdom. There was the king. Uh, the king of that place wanted to visit Venkateswar Swami, Balaji, but he could not because of his age and other factors. So then Venkateswar Swami himself, then Lord Balaji himself, came down to visit the king and in that particular place, and that is why that particular temple has been built here. It is said that he himself came to visit him. Okay, but I mean that temple again it lies in a village and it's actually not very visited much. So people who visit Tirupati, they visit other temples like Kalahasti and this one what you call Kanipakam and all. But this temple like lies off the track, so not many visit it. Like this is one of the now this is one of the uh, temple examples out here. Or like the Chitragupta temple, which I told in Hyderabad old city again. Not very. It doesn't have many people visiting the temple. Just a very few uh, but like see, you don't have that many temples which are dedicated to Chitragupta. This is one of those temples which are there. So that is one more thing. And yeah, so my there's a place called Srikurmam. There's one temple called Srikurmam. I think it has the only temple which is dedicated to Kurma Avatar of Vishnu.
Kurma Avatar, acha. Okay.
Kurma, the place is called as Srikurmam. Again, now we are getting visitors and all, but earlier when we used to go, it was not many people used to visit it, except those who are living in and around that particular city. For some first time, these are some of the examples which I can recall, like right now.
Now let's come to the impact of your visits and your blogs. Do you see any kind of reaction from people, or any kind of feedback?
See, most of the feedback I get is in person, or maybe something saying that I visited this temple, we're reading it because of you, or came to know about this temple and all. That is the kind of impact which I have, like just like personal messages here and there and all. But very high level impact, I think that of mostly it is like it has been more at the level of spreading awareness and bringing to light these temples, right now.
So, in person, when people give you feedback, or they tell you about they have visited, what kind of feedbacks you receive in person?
Mostly they say that I mean it's like mostly positive. So people say that you know like because of you we came to know about this aspect of history, or because of we came to know about this particular temple which you are not aware of, and mostly the feedback I get is like that. Of course, there are some people who give me that kind of thing, saying that why you are spreading this kind of information, especially when I come up with you know threats related to Muslim invasions or Muslim attacks. That I get feedback saying that why are you digging up the past and all. I get that kind of reactions also. So I get both the negative as I mean positive as well as the negative reactions. So I learned how to you know manage both
We
of them.
can leave the negative feedbacks, but if you are getting positive feedbacks and people are impressed with your work, and even if one person gets benefited because of you, I mean, that's a great success. Okay, you have dedicated your own
Absolutely.
time, your own money, it's, and you explore and you tell people about these temples, which has historical impact, and also it somewhere it will add to the economy as well. When you tell
Yeah,
people about
obviously.
temples, people will
Yeah,
go there, and the priests, those who are serving in those temples, who are really worthful, and where which has really a great energy and aura, which can give a positive impact to the visitors as well. So
yeah,
definitely it will add to the economy as well.
yes. See, one thing like one of the things which I also note, like how temples can also contribute to the economy ecosystem of a place. For example, take the case of Tirupati. I mean, because the temple itself, like TTD, because of TTD, there's so many schools, education institutes in the city, or what do you call runs hospitals. I mean, I'm giving the examples of Tirupati, but most of these prominent temple towns, the temple authorities have invested in education, they invested in healthcare, they invested in facilities and all, which is in ways contributing to the economy of the city. Also.
And it adds value to the history as well. Many
Yeah,
many events and incidences can mostly people say that this is myth or this is not really happened, but these
hmm,
temples somewhere adds value to those myths and claim that those are not myths, they actually historical events which happened. Like you have mentioned that you have there is a temple which is very rare. Then Kurma Avatar temple. So definitely there would be all 9, 10 Avatar temples, but maybe people don't know about Kurma Avatar temple is there. So somebody will say, "Ki, Arey, Kurma Avatar is not there, or there is nothing called Kurma Avatar. It is just a myth told by
yeah,
Hindus." But
hmm,
once this temple is found,
yes, right.
that converts into the fact. Yes, was a Kurma Avatar. It happened, and it's history. It's not myth.
You're absolutely right.
So you are definitely adding value to Sanatan Dharma, and even few people come to know uh, this adds a great value. and it will definitely help those who are dependent on those temples, especially the Purohit and other people. It's really a great
So thank you.
service.
Thank you. Yeah.
So one more thing, I mean, you are documenting this on Substack. So if somebody wants to know a list of temples, whichever you
Mm-hmm.
have visited, let's say if somebody is doing research on Andhra temples or Telangana temples, so can you help them some way, like in a documentation way, if somebody is looking where to find all the temples available in Andhra or
Yeah, I
Telangana?
mean, I haven't documented in a list per se because I've written like individually on the temples. But yeah, I can help in the one way. Like, for example, maybe not a list of all the temples, but say, let's say people want to know about what are all the Shiva temples, or like, let's say people want to
Yeah.
know what are all the Narasimha temples, or let's say people want to know what are all the Ganesha temples in Andhra Pradesh. Or like for example, Ganesh Chaturthi, I have written like what I do is on Shivratri, I give a list of all the Shiva temples in Andhra Pradesh, in Telangana, Andhra Pradesh. Same thing I do for Ganesh Chaturthi, all the Ganesha temples. And now with Navratri coming up, I'll be posting mostly on giving a list of all the like there are Andhra Pradesh, Telangana. They have four what we call as Mahashakti Peethams. I think you're aware of the concept of Shakti Peethams, right? Like
Yes, yes,
uh,
yes.
there are 51 Shakti Peethams where parts of Sati's body have been believed to be followed. So Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, there are four of them, which are the Mahashakti Peethams out of 51. So like one is Pitapuram, Draksharama, Sri Sailam, and what do you call it? There's one more place called Alampur. So these are so I write about them and like what are all the Shakti Peethams in Andhra Pradesh. So so that way in which I give the list so that one yeah, so that is one way where I give the list also
So I would like to tell my viewers, those who are interested in visiting temples, who love to do pilgrimage and mostly to the unknown locations, Ratnakar ji is your source. Go search about him, visit his blogs, visit his blogs, visit his podcast, and you will get to know a lot about the temples. Plus, those who are studying or who are doing some kind of research, documentation, making movies, Ratnakarji is a source for that.
thank you. But my one more thing is like most of the temples I mostly write about have been primarily from Andhra Pradesh and Telangana because that's my home state. So that I write mostly on the temples in that side. So maybe other state temples I do have some idea, but these are people want to know anything about temples related in Andhra Pradesh, Telangana. They can feel free to contact me because that is my area, and that is my domain specialty. So they can contact me in that way.
No, at least in the Andhra and Telangana section, at least people can cover those sections which falls into Andhra and Telangana regime. Like if somebody is looking
Yes.
for Shakti Peetham, so they know at least four Shakti Peethams. Ratnakarji can give the detail about the four Shakti Peethams. Similarly, if
Yeah.
somebody is interested in is a Shaiv or interesting in Shiv Mandirs or in Ganesha temples, so he at least he has one source for Andhra and Telangana. Okay? For Andhra and Telangana, Ratnakarji is there, and also definitely like you have said that I went to Odisha as well. So you would provide even much broader detail, not too much, but yes, at
Yeah.
least you can connect people, and this is
Yeah. Right. That's right.
how we grow. Yeah, this information can grow, and
Yeah.
that's
Absolutely
really
right.
great. So we will post all the links which Ratnakarji, the information Ratnakarji gives, like his podcasts, his blogs. Ratnakarji, you would like to discuss like your contribution into this Pragyata.
Yeah. So apart from my work on temples and all, like apart from my work on temples Indian history, I started writing, a long essay on related to Sanatan Dharma. So that's what I've been
Mm-hmm.
posting at Pragyata and also in my Substack. So basically, like recently, I posted one long article about how Hindus should develop the habit of Shatrubodh. The Shatrubodh, I think you might be
Okay.
knowing, right? Like how Hindus must develop this habit of Shatrubodh, and fighting for their rights and all instead of being passive. That is one long article which I've written also. Another article
Okay.
which I had written was about people say that whenever I bring up these issues of temples or uh, history and all, they say like, what about development? Development is important. This is not important. So I
Hmm.
written one more article saying that development and cultural concerns that should not you cannot they should not be
Separate.
binary. You need both of them. You need the development at the same time. You need cultural development also. So I had
Definitely.
written one article right in that. So it was called as "What about development?" Saying that as much as development is important, cultural is also important for us.
Def-
So I have written that particular article also. So basically, like yeah. So apart so far, like I've been writing mostly on history and temples and all. But late I've been starting into writing on articles related to Sanatan Dharma also. Advice like say for example, like this, like I told you, like how Hindus must develop the habit of Shatrubodh, or why development, why cultural history is as important as the body of Hinduism. So I'm trying to, I'm just making the beginning in that area where I'm trying to address these kind of concerns and issues. So that is what I'm also planning to go about more in depth later on. Like,
So that you are doing on your blog or
yeah,
Pragyata.
mostly on my blog and Pragyata. Like I'm doing on my blog and on Pragyata also.
So that is even more important, like busting the myths and clearing the confusion from the youngsters' minds, especially, is definitely required. I mean, even not for the temples. I mean, people used to say about Ram Mandir as well. कि क्यों बनाना है राम मंदिर हॉस्पिटल बनवा दो ये बनवा
Ah,
दो
ah, ah. That's what that I written one entire article on that. What about development? That's like whenever these kind of issues come, give okay, fine, boss. We need development and all, but this is also important. You can't say that we need this, but we don't need that. That is what my interest is. So actually, in a way, my that is the reason why I started sharing on history and everything also. Like people ask, why you want to dig up the past? Why I get these comments? Why do you want to dig up the past? What is the use and all? But if history is something, if you know where we came from, what we did, you will learn from history. So that
Definitely,
is what I'm not asking you to go and live there. I'm asking you to just read it and learn from it.
definitely.
So, and that is where it started coming into this one here. Okay.
No, that's really great service, and people don't understand this. Like if you see Tirupati Devasthanam, doesn't it have
Mhm.
doesn't it have a hospital? Doesn't it has schools? It has best schools, best hospitals in the Tirupati Devasthanam. Why? Because Tirupati Devasthanam is there, and people come there, visit. The lot of pilgrimages come there. That is why that area is totally well maintained, properly maintained. All services are available. So if you have a temple, you will get hospital, you will get schools, you will get clean roads, you will get everything because of one temple.
Absolutely.
So temple is always a center point of development. It's not
Yeah,
separate.
absolutely
That's
right.
yeah. Now see Ayodhya.
Yeah,
You see Ayodhya
absolutely.
5 years, 10 years back. Today's Ayodhya. There is a
Yeah,
major
in Kashi
difference.
also, I think. In same with Kashi also, I think after.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
Same.
in Kashi
Everywhere
also
it
is
is happening.
developed it sometimes.
Yes. We are
Yes,
visiting
absolutely right.
Kashi for last many years. But now the condition in
Hmm.
Kashi is it's really amazing. So definitely temples are important and they are the center of development. Temples are not separate, and that's really a great thing which you are doing. And these things are really even more important. Temples, talking about temples is definitely important. It adds value. Plus, this concept, this notion has to be there
Hmm.
into the public, even in the younger generations, matured people as well, those who have even doing jobs, they don't value this. They say, Arey, you are radical Hindu talking about temples and dharma only. They ridicule, but they don't understand how much. And this Shatrubodh, which you have said, sir, is definitely
Yeah.
required. And I was reading Dr. Pankaj Saxena's book Shatrubodh and Swayambodh, and I would love to read your blog as well on Shatrubodh.
No, that is what my latest article was about. Like, see, there was a very famous folk tale. It was told by Ramakrishna Paramahansa. There was a cobra in a village which was used to bite people.
Hmm.
Okay, so it used to bite. So a sadhu who was passing by that one, he advised the cobra not to bite people.
Hmm.
Don't harm the people. He said, then fine. So the cobra stopped biting the people. After some time, what happened is, like, people in the village, they saw that the cobra was not attacking them, and they started pelting it with stones and all, and it was badly injured. So Sadhu, once again, when he was passing, he saw the cobra in a very badly injured state.
Hmm.
So he asked the cobra, like, why, what happened? Why are you like this? Why you are so badly injured? So Cobra said that, sir, because Swamiji, you only told me not to bite people. Then the sadhu told one thing. I asked you not to bite people, but I didn't tell you not to hiss in self-defense. You should have hissed in self-defense,
Hmm.
right?
Definitely.
So that, in a sense, is what the state of the Hindus is. We are not asking Hindus to go and attack, but defend yourself. Defend yourself. That's what that is. I mean, that my article on Shatrubodh is what exactly all it is about. I'll share that article specifically. So within your video you can know about it. But this is a very popular folk tale. This is a very popular tale. So basically, what he said is, don't attack, but defend yourself. You should defend yourself. Don't let other people attack you and walk over you. And that's what is one of my pet peeves of this.
Yes, definitely. This is all communist, leftist ideologies and work
Yeah.
which have, poisoned our brains. Ki, we don't have to fight. Hindus should, like Mahatma Gandhi himself has said, कि if Muslim is killing you,
Hmm.
then let him do it. कोई एक थप्पड़ मारता है तो दूसरा गाल
Yes.
दे दो.
Yeah. It doesn't tell this one. See, you have every right. See, the reason why Hinduism is surviving in India today, while all other pagan faiths have disappeared in their other countries, is because we had people continuously resisting. I mean, first earlier it
Hmm.
was the Rajputs, then Vijayanagar Empire, then Marathas, then other rulers. We had people like Rana Pratap, we had people like Shivaji Maharaj, we had people like Kṛṣṇadevarāya, and there's so many others who resisted the invasions, who fought back the invasions, who resisted the invasions, and that is the reason why Hinduism is still surviving in this country. Else, like other countries, our like it would have been like Hinduism. There were people would have been saying once upon a time there was Hinduism, and we would just be ending in the museum. That's all. So that's the reason that resistance is there, because this is the only country we have. I mean, Muslims have so many countries, Christians have so many countries, but Hindus, this is the only country we have. Right. See, my only advice is one thing to everybody out here: read as much as possible on your Indian history. See, read as much as possible on our history, our heritage, our culture. Develop that culture. I'm not asking you to go and fight wars or lead an army, but when people start attacking you, when you have people trying saying that Hinduism is this, Hinduism is that, you're backward. Stand up and defend. Don't let others bully you. Stand up and defend. But if you want to stand up and defend, you need to know.
Yes.
And how do you defend? You need to read. Spend time reading. Read as much as possible. Good. See, there are so now you have the internet with you. You have the internet. Now you have the artificial intelligence. AI is also there. If you go into AI nowadays, you have AI tools are there like Grok or what do you call this, Copilot, Chat GPT. So many tools are there. You start using the AI to get information, because nowadays I'm using AI also, and now finding out information which I just giving more additional. Use AI to get information. You have the technology. I mean, use AI or use internet or whatever, but try getting information. Read as much as read. You read books, you read journals, you read magazines, you read online sources, but read as much. So because, like, see, you should be in a position to counter the negative propaganda about Hinduism. So play your own part. Don't, and see, one thing is, don't do it for the sake of publicity or for the sake of getting your views or likes. No, don't do that. Do it out of your own conviction and interest. Do it out of your own conviction and interest. Don't do it just for impressing people and all. Don't do that. Do it out of your conviction. You should be convinced first. Only when you are convinced, then you can convince others. So that is my advice to people. That's all.
So let's move to our quick questions and one word questions, and then we will move to final your final message. So I have four questions for you. The first one is a temple you recently visited that left a deep impact on you.
Puri Jagannath.
One historical figure you believe is underappreciated in Bharat's history.
Yeah. Veer Savarkar.
Okay. Veer Savarkar. That's true. That's true. A dharmic book or blog or article which you recommend every young seeker should read. Any book or article, anything.
The Hindu Post is a very good blog site. So, and Pragyata. Pragyata I would also
Hmm.
recommend to read.
Definitely, that's also important. That what you are reading, what is the source, and from where you are reading, because most of there are who those who less know, and they give you distorted facts, distorted history. So filtered content is also required. So definitely, Pragyata and Hindu Post is very good blogs. One thing about Bharat's past, you
Hmm.
wish more people knew. Any part which people don't know about it.
Um, Ahoms, history of Ahoms. That is one part which not many people know about. They resisted the Mughals. They gave a very strong defeat to Aurangzeb at the Battle of Saraighat. That is one area not many people know about.
Yes, that's true. There are many, but yes, you have pointed very well. Ahom Raja, I mean, this dynasty, very less people know about it. Okay, so we will move to our one
Yeah.
word question. What is dharma for you?
No, Dharma is the code of conduct which you need to follow in your life. Consider it as a guidebook, a guide to how live your life. If I want to put it.
Vijayanagar.
Greatest empire, one of the greatest empires in Indian history, that acted as a sort of barrier to Muslim invasions down south, and ensuring that most of the what you see in most of the if you are seeing the most of the temples down south still standing like that, not destroyed. That was because of the effect of Vijayanagar Empire, which protected the Hinduism down south.
Heritage.
Heritage is what we inherit from our ancestors: the temples, the forts, the art, everything. It is what is coming. It is what is makes us our identity. It is what identifies you as an Indian first.
You, yeah, your focus is on temple. So I would also like to know what is temple for you.
Temple is like a holistic place. Basically, one way is where I go to meet God, where I, the personal level, it is where I have my interaction with God. At a more wider level, it was also a community center for people to come around, for people to come meet, socialize, or I mean interact with each other. So it is like a social. So both like at a personal level, it is for you to interact with God. At a social level, it also forms a community purpose.
Sanatan. What is Sanatan for you?
Eternal. Eternal. It is eternal. Like see, we have today we are like we do puja. We are doing puja to God. We are following traditions which our ancestors did some million thousands of years back. That is Sanatan.
It's
We are
continuing.
following the traditions of our ancestors were doing thousands of years back, and our descendants also good. So that's eternal one, Sanatan one.
That's really very apt answer you have given for Sanatan. Whatever we are doing in puja, it's continuing since many years, many thousands and lakhs of years. That's really true. So it was a very good discussion, Ratnakar ji. So now in the last leg of our interview, I would like to share your message to the youth and the Hindus. what you would like to convey to all the Hindus across globe?
I want to say only one thing. We are the last remaining pagan faith on earth, which has withstood the invasions of the Abrahamic religions like Christianity and Muslim. Our ancestors fought for that to preserve that religion. They shed blood, they shed lives. Don't let that sacrifices go waste. Carry on their whatever they did, carry on their resistance. Whatever they did, you carry on. Material progress is important, but your cultural identity is as much important. Without any cultural identity, you might be materially rich, but you'll end up very rootless. Develop, I mean, see, you do your job, you make money, make your career and all, but don't forget your roots, don't forget your culture, don't forget your history. This is what we have, and let us preserve it. That is what my
जी, बहुत बढ़िया, वेरी नाइस. इवन चाणक्य जी हैज सेड कि धर्म सुखस्य मूलम धर्म एंड धर्मस्य मूलम अर्थ. So if before following dharma, you have to earn money. So earn money, but don't forget your dharma.
see.
Not
That's what I mean. You have dharma, the four purusharthas, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Pursue gaining artha, pursue you do kama also, but ensure that you don't violate dharma, whether it is making money or enjoying pleasure. Ensure you don't violate dharma. You follow within a code of conduct. Moksha, of course, let us leave it. That's a very high stage. We are not there, but you are ensuring that whatever you are doing, ensure that you don't violate dharma while doing that action. That's it.
It was really great talking to you, and we will
Thank you.
stay in touch. Like I have done around six, seven podcasts, and there is one. I think you have seen our podcast, Shalini ji. She also visits temple. She is in
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Bangalore. And, so there are many people coming up like this, and we are really lucky to have you people and showcase on our podcast, show that how people are serving to the nation, to Bharat. It's really great, and we feel ourselves quite motivated when we talk to people like you. That yes, I mean, it was our initial idea ki yes, let's find out ki how many people are doing service to dharma. But when we started, we see everybody is doing something for dharma in Hindus. They are doing, it's not like we have forgotten everything. There are many people who are doing it, and you are one of them, Ratnakar ji. It's really great. Thank you for joining us and for sharing your journey. Your dedication, whether through your books, your research, or your temple visits, is a reminder that Sanatan Dharma is not just preserved in the scriptures but also in the stone sanctums and stories of our temples. Your efforts to highlight the forgotten temples of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana and the culture history surrounding them add immense value to our civilizational memory. To our listeners, if this conversation has inspired you, please share it forward and like it. At Bhakts.com, we will continue to bring voices like Ratnakarji's so that the living spirit of Dharma reaches every home. Until next time, Jai Shri Ram, Jai Hind, and may Sanatan Dharma shine eternal. Thank you very much. Namaste.